Good morning. First, I want to say thank you for having me here across the pond to talk about things that I really love talking about. And second thing, I am not Carl Cox. So, recently been told, yeah, you're seeing it now, right? I didn't know who Carl Cox was, but now I do. And I'm not going to, it is very, very nerdy cousin. So another caveat about me. So I'm not a pharma person. I admit it. I've been in the game now for 4 years, so I'm still a rookie. My colleagues remind me every single day that I'm not a pharma person, so shut up. They say you have either A, have to be for 5 years, so I'm about a year away from that. B, have to launch the drug, which I have not done. And C, carry the bag, right? Carry the bag out in the field. So none of those done yet, so I'm still a rookie. And that's the angle I'm coming from, a non-pharma person coming into this crazy world of pharma. So that's what we'll talk about today. A little bit about, the outside world coming into pharma. So, just real quick, I like to talk about, any Greek mythology folks in here. I like talking about this statue. It's a very famous statue. You probably see it all over the place. I believe this one's from the Frankfurt Bahnhof in Germany. And there's a famous one in New York City at 75 Rock. And it's a statue of Atlas. And the story is, Atlas is the bearer of the heavens. He's being punished by Zeus. And the punishment is carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders for eternity. So I kind of see this as a CX person, maybe a reformed CX person, as the way we are. This is customer-centricity, right? Carrying this weight of the world on your shoulders. The CEO, the board level initiative or idea on our shoulders. And hey, go make it happen for 100,000 people. And my former colleague from the mayor, I'm sure understands that Florida, right? This is our work. So I believe this is humanity's first pharmacy leader, trying to take this idea forward. And this is what it feels like often. This fundamental idea of being customer-centric. As consumers, we all appreciate it, we understand it, we love it. We're trying to get our organizations to adopt this, to become the Netflix of the blockbuster is really, really hard work. And that's what we're going to talk about now. So, that's our objective. Try to change the narrative on CX and re-energize the urgency of customer centricity. These things are not nice to haves anymore, they're must-haves. And let's talk a little bit about some ideas and things that we're doing that may help on this journey. Because it's a very, very hard, long journey to go on. So, as we get into this, a little bit of storyline here. As I made my journey from the outside world, as a crazy person in pharma, there's a journey of realization that I've had, conclusions that I've drawn, and things that help me navigate the waters. First, on the far left there, my co-author and I, a book that I wrote, we analyzed CX. What's up with CX? Why is it so friction-fraught? Why is it so difficult to understand and comprehend? And we found that, on the far left, CX can't be a monolith. There's not one single formula for successful customer experience. So what Netflix is doing, you're not going to do. Maybe some things you can draw from it, but they have their own interpretation of CX. In pharma, we found that there's a lot of CX around research, design, signing up journeys, not a whole lot embedded in marketing and sales. And that was the opportunity. On the far right, CX can't succeed in a vacuum. And in many places, you see this idea of customer experience being stood up as a vertical within the organization. And it's taken me a long time and a lot of soul searching to realize that you really have to fit it within the construct of the organization. So if you look at pharma, as I learned in pharma, the words and terminology matter. So it's really about, marketing excellence and sales excellence are common terms. Everyone understands what those things mean. Launch excellence, everyone understands what it means in pharma. It's very, very common terminology. So we've actually changed the name of CX to customer excellence. And that's what we are now operating with. So a new interpretation of CX built to fit into the framework of pharma. And then the book, of course, is about how to take that and make it part of the operating model. We're going to be an organic part of the operating model, not an outlier, weird thing down the hall. All right? So let's get into it. We all love a good movie, right? Used to, dating myself, I used to go to the movies. I know everyone's streaming now on Netflix. So we all love a good movie. So we're going to talk about a movie that my daughter's favorite movie. So growing up, she watched this movie 1,000 times, and I unfortunately watched it with her. We all know this character, right? Smeagol, right? From Lord of the Rings. And the beauty of this story, the intensity of it, the attraction of it, is about this idea of singular obsession, and being obsessed with something. Smeagol was obsessed with that ring. My favorite movie, First Connection. Popeye Doyle was obsessed with solving that crime. So obsession is a very, very powerful emotion, dynamic in movies. Very, very gripping, right? Why am I bringing this up to a group of pharma, CX, and marketers and commercial folks? Why? And the reason is we have our own obsession. There it is. We all know it. We're it's group therapy here. We can all admit it. This is our world. Everything we do is about the funnel. Nobody knows where it came from, right? It's been around for a long time. We've established our own language around it. Tofu, low-food. We're all from different countries, different companies. We can all sit down, have a coffee, and talk about the funnel and be immediately aligned. Am I right? This is our obsession as marketers and commercial folks. Been around for a long time. Our singular obsession, our ring. Now, as we go forward, the reason why this funnel, this mysterious funnel, came out of nowhere, with no inventor apparently, the reason why it's so pervasive and why we love it is because it works. Regardless of the interpretation and how you change the language in it, change the layers in it for your company, it works. It's super optimized for customer acquisition. It takes demand from the top and converts it into MQL, SQL, it's all our data, that's that language, and it pops up to the side as a paying customer or prescriber in our world. So we all know it, we all love it. Super optimized for customer acquisition. Now, the reason why it's now challenged is because it's super optimized for customer acquisition. That's what we think about. We're all in service of customer acquisition. The technology we buy, it's all in service of that model. Because we love it, because it works, right? But if you look at the bottom of this funnel, it says purchase. And again, there's many different interpretations of this funnel, but purchase, it just ends at that point. Like what happens after purchase? And it gets into this mysterious world of post-purchase, post-customer interactions. How do we take a new customer and move them forward? It's not in the funnel. So if all of our time and energy and resources that we apply to this funnel and our obsessions with this funnel, what happens to the customer afterwards? And that's really the topic of what we'll talk to in a minute, talking about this new commercial model, new to pharma perhaps. And then I'll talk about some specific things that we're doing to go from theory to practice. So you kind of see how this comes to life. All right, so I'm a liberal arts major, so I'm not a math person. So this is the math formula that I actually understand. So 1 is greater than 2, and 2, sorry, liberal arts. 2 is greater than 1, 3 is greater than 2. Very simple math, right? And the reason that formula is the new success formula, that a simpleton like me can understand, is because we go from acquisition plus retention. Acquisition plus retention is better than acquisition itself. Acquisition plus retention plus expansion is better than both of those. So we're going to walk through how that model works. Again, try to break our obsession with acquisition. We all love it. We all love getting new customers in. What about the existing ones that we currently have? So let's go. This is the idea behind the funnel to the flywheel. So the funnel, we all know and love, is something that is in our dreams, is in our nightmares, is in our meetings, in our QBRs. What's the status of the pipeline? How are we doing in our pipeline? How are we moving things through from an efficiency standpoint? What tech are we using to drive it on the funnel side? The middle part is called bow tie. This is acquisition and retention. Building the muscle, building the operating capability in a tech to drive actually retaining customers once you've captured them. What a novel idea. We're spending an enormous amount of money and resources capturing customers, but we don't spend a whole lot retaining them. So this is really a resource allocation story as well. Like, where's your allocating resources? Next is the flywheel. This is about acquisition, retention, and expansion. And the story here is customers who are driving everything, whether you like it or not, they're saying and have different expectations at different stages. A new customer being acquired is very different than a customer that needs to be retained. The mechanics are different, the emotions are different, the behaviors are different, the value exchange is different. So, aligning to, it's not about our view of the world, it's about aligning to what customers actually want and need. So as you go down the process here, you improve relevance and get customers in the door, delivering on promises, we'll keep them in the door, anticipate their needs, how we go next to expand out the value proposition. Again, this is a resource allocation model, so think about where your resources being spent as well. And it can be shocking about the amount of dollars or euros we spent across the spectrum. So, let's get a little deeper into the theory of the flywheel model, because it kind of brings together marketing, sales, and experience into one cohesive, coherent operating model. And that's how companies operate. So, this operating model, acquisition, retention, expansion, is fueled by voice of the customer. So, when Florian's doing voice of the customer at Bayer, and bringing that to the business, it's not just to show and deliver insights, it's to drive this flywheel of value. It doesn't work without it. Next is customer context. Who is the customer? What are they all about? What are their drivers? What are their triggers? That's what customer context is. The other side of the equation is desired outcomes for the customer and for us. We're all in business to deliver value to our shareholders, our owners. So we have to keep mindful of that. We deliver value to both our customers and us. The story here is the current focus on product and brand-driven marketing, commercial activity. That's where we're all mixing it up. We're all competing. We're all going after it with product and brand. The opportunity is product, brand, and experience. So that's the open space. That's open terrain. That's open. No one in pharma is winning that battle. So that's the trade. I'll see you in the arena. That's the overall success formula, the flywheel model. So we're going to jump in real quick to things that we're doing and why we're doing them to activate this model. Because it's more than just changing belief and behaviors and ideas. It's like, how does it actually get implemented in the real world? How do you do this on a daily basis? The way we're doing the funnel. We've been doing the funnel for years. How do we build systems and language and data around this model? So, this is the question that keeps me up at night. It's not a nerd. But 25 years after experience became a thing in an HBR article called Experience Economy, why are great experiences still so rare? Because we all see it, we all feel it. We're still trying to climb that hill with customer experience as a business proposition. So, the answer is, and I know you've seen these logos many times, these stories many times, but what are the perennial winners doing? And in addition to being great at CX, if you dig into their DNA, their origin stories, there are fundamental things that the founders do to embed the customer into the business as a fundamental principle. So it isn't like an outlier. It isn't like a department you can build. It's in their DNA. So all these companies, their founders, so Horst Schulze from Wisconsin, from Pelham from Southwest, Jeff Bezos, who just saw in the presentation, it's embedded in the DNA of the business. So that's the bar. We're not going to take our way out of it. We're not going to wish our way out of it. We've got to change the fundamental DNA of our companies at the DNA level, at the origin level. So this is how we're going to start doing that. 4 areas of transformation. So leadership DNA, operational, organizational, commercial. You have to change all those things. If you dig into these companies, that's what they've done. They go to market differently. They lead differently. Leaders don't lead just with intent. or aspiration. They lead with conviction of the customer. They are the advocate for the customer. It can be us if we can't carry that weight on our shoulders. So, leads with conviction, commercially, excellence across the life cycle, not just acquisition, which is extraordinarily self-serving. We love the acquisition piece that serves us. But how do we go across the life cycle, delivering value? So, this is really about structural and systemic change, and that's really, really hard. All right, real quick, I've got about 4 minutes left. I'm going to jump into very, very specific things that we've done. We want to go from functional, superficial, hey, we're customer-centric, right? Our customers love us, to being structural and systemic, real deep change that can be implemented in companies. I'm going to lay out 5 of them real fast. 1, our customer context. We all know her, we love her. This is Dr. Roswell. We all have her in our CRM systems. She's a target for all of us. We know her as a cardiologist. We know what she prescribes. We know everything about her. She's digital native, she's not. But the question is that the only person she is? Or is she a different person outside of her professional life? And the truth of it is, we are all two people, professionals, and we're also private citizens. So, we know her as a doctor, physician. We don't know her as a mother, wife, sister, consumer, where she has other brands in her life. So I'm sorry to tell you that none of us in here are part of that list of companies that she loves. And so the question becomes, what are the attributes of these companies that drive that customer love that we can extract out and build into our business? So, understanding customer context, bigger than just understanding the persona, the profile as a cardiologist. Next, spoke about this a little bit earlier, but our go-to-market and go-to-customer is built around product and brand. We love it, our messaging is about that, our marketing is about that, we love our products, and we love our brands. We love ourselves. But the go-to-market in the future, the successful in the future, is bringing experience to that as an organic piece. So I want to sell safety, efficacy, and ease. And I want people to deliver on those promises. That's what it means. Right now, we're battling out for safety and efficacy. All right? Moving on, for all the analytics for people in here, we talk about measurement, and I want to put to the bottom piece of it, because back to this idea that CX is not a monolith. We're creating bespoke metrics that link to the specific journeys of our drugs and our indications. Every journey is different. How you measure value, with and satisfaction for docs is very different. So we're trying to create metrics that reflect that, and then manage that, rather than creating using the broad metrics like gas, CSAT, or anything else. We're using metrics that are tied to individual journeys. So it's not either going from measuring chaos to measurement already. Right, moving along. VOC, I mentioned a little bit about AI. So we're applying AI to solve problem number 1 in the CX space, which is making sense of all the ton of data we already have. That's what we're trying to solve for. Using Gen AI to interrogate our data to understand the customer, not where they are, but also where they are going, intent. That's what we're going to. And finally, creating customer-centric marketers. Creating a skill set that is unique. Marketing core, digital marketing wrapper, customer experience wrapper around that. You can't find these folks on the street. You have to build them. So that's what we do as well. And in service of time here, our end game is to drive an economic model that delivers value across the board. I won't get into the details of this, but should be building. But it really is looking at it beyond acquisition, recovering your acquisition costs, and then driving value and profitability out of your investment in acquisition. So I have 30 seconds left, and I'm going to wrap it up there as this builds out. So it's not theoretical, very pragmatic things you can do in your company, in your world, to drive a model that delivers true value across acquisition, retention, and expansion. That's the funnel for Flywheel.